This is Terminator Salvation, a third-person cover-based shooter based on the movie of the same name. It was released for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC in May of 2009. Terminator Salvation was developed by Grin AB, the Swedish-based studio behind the PC versions of Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 1 and 2, as well as the Bionic Commando remaster and rearmed reboots. 2 days after Terminator Salvation released, Grin declared bankruptcy, citing delayed payments from multiple publishers after a few publishing deals fell through and it was obvious Terminator Salvation wouldn't save them. So I actually have played this one before. I played it all the way back when it first came out. See, I had a subscription to GameFly, and there was one summer break in high school where I was just flying through games.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
And I didn't really remember too much about it, just that I kind of enjoyed it. And pretty much from the beginning of my channel covering Xbox 360 games, this one's been on my list to revisit. I really wanted to see if this game was actually good or if I was just kind of blinded by nostalgia. I mean, GameFly is just so much nostalgia that obviously I'd be blinded by nostalgia, right? I pretty recently rewatched Terminator 2 and I've had this itch to play some of the Terminator games, and so I found this one at my local store. I booted it up the night that I bought it, and I realized that I only needed to beat it on the hard difficulty to finally earn that final achievement for that sweet 100%. All footage in this review is captured on an Xbox 360. Before we dive into the review, massive thanks to my channel members for supporting me. You can join these Resistance fighters on screen for only $1 a month. If you don't know the basics of the Terminator universe, let's do a quick recap. Humans created an AI called Skynet to eliminate human error from military nuclear decisions. It got too smart, saw humanity as the threat, and on a day known as Judgment Day, Skynet hit its 25 kill streak on us.
Tactical nuke incoming!
The Resistance fought back, and Skynet built Terminator robots to squash us like bugs. Now, don't ask any questions about this next part, but Skynet was somehow able to figure out time travel, and it sent a robot back to kill this woman before she could give birth to this baby that will eventually grow up to be this man, John Connor, who leads the Resistance after Judgment Day. Humans somehow figured out a way to send this guy, Kyle Reese, back in time too in order to stop the Terminator so John could survive and become that leader. And oh boy, do the time travel plot holes ensue. The war never ends. The future just keeps trying to rewrite the past. Kyle Reese actually ends up becoming John Connor's father. Arnold is sent back as the bad guy in the first Terminator movie. Then he's sent back again, but this time as the good guy to protect John Connor in Terminator 2 and 3.
I'm a cybernetic organism, living tissue over a metal endoskeleton.
And every time we stop Judgment Day, Skynet just finds a new date. Terminator Salvation takes place after Judgment Day has happened, and the Resistance is fighting Skynet in the destruction and aftermath in Los Angeles. Since this is based on the movie of the same name, you of course play as John Connor. And well, actually, that's where this all starts to fall apart already. You see, this is one of those movie tie-in games. Instead of actually following the plot of the movie, this is instead an original story featuring some of the main cast and characters, set as a prequel to the events of the film. There are no cutscenes that match to the film, and the game is simply used as a vehicle to set up how the group came together and their mission to rescue some survivors from deep in Skynet territory. While the movie has John Connor played by the one and only Christian Bale, hot and fresh off his role in The Dark Knight,
Swear to me!
The game has this schmuck, played by Gideon Emery. Christian Bale outright refused to lend his voice and likeness to the video game adaptation, and in the years since the movie released, we've learned more and more that Christian Bale really didn't want to make this movie, and he sorta only did it to spite the people that said he shouldn't do it. And the movie bombed, so joke's on them, I guess. That also helps to explain why he went off on this infamous tirade on the set of the movie.
Oh, good for you! And how was it? I'm gonna kick your ass. You don't shut up for a second, all right?
The main group of soldiers in the film includes Barnes, played by rapper Common, and Blair, played by Moon Bloodsong, the most heavy metal name I've ever heard. Both reprise their roles from the game, and you can play this in co-op with the second player controlling Blair. We also hear an appearance of the immediately recognizable Nolan North as one of the side characters that comes and goes.
energy! Come on, get your head together. Help the others.
The game plays like a pretty basic third-person cover shooter. You got blind firing, firing above and around cover, and moving between cover. It's all here. When you're on the edge of a cover and you're looking to switch to a new cover position, this wheel shows up to help point you to which cover you're going to transfer to, which I really liked. Of course, every arena is a room full of chest-high walls, and it never felt like I wasn't sure where I'd be transferring to. Now, while I was live streaming my playthrough, someone in chat actually said the animations reminded them of Sniper Elite, which is an apt analogy for the level of jank that we're working with here. For some reason, there's no dodge roll or sprint button. And no, I don't mean that it's mapped to something that I'm unfamiliar with or that the game just forgets to tell you in the tutorial, because I checked the controls in-game and I read the manual that I have here in the game's case, and there's no sprint button for this game, which is only one of the many oddities with the controller mapping that we're going to talk about. In fact, the entire D-pad and left bumper aren't mapped at all. For some reason, the Y button is used to interact with objects and it's used to pick up new weapons. But picking up weapons feels wrong, and it took me until about 3/4 of the way through the game to figure out why. And it's because you can't pick up weapons unless you're looking at them. You can't pick them up if you're standing right on top of them. Good luck trying to pick up a new weapon while the Terminators are gunning you down. And if you're in cover, you can't pick up weapons or even pick up ammo. You have to leave the safety of cover and get shot to pick up more resources. It was just so frustrating to die just because I wanted the ammo that's within reach, but you can't pick it up without standing up first. You can hold 2 weapons and you press the B button for some reason to switch between them. Now, I've played a lot of games and I don't remember a single one that used the B button to change weapons. And just to make matters worse, there are 2 grenade types. There's the standard grenade and there are pipe bombs, a reference to the pipe bomb that Kyle Reese used to defeat the Terminator all the way back in the first movie. But when you run out of standard grenades, it doesn't automatically switch to the pipe bombs. And nowhere in the game does it actually tell you how to switch grenade types. And I have to say this again, nowhere in the game does it tell you how to switch grenade types. I actually had to look it up on GameFAQs and I found this thread of people thanking OP for not being a The solution is to hold the B button to bring up this menu and use the joystick to select your weapons. And I don't understand why this is in the game. You can only hold 2 weapons and you can only hold 2 grenade types. You really don't need a weapon wheel when you've already established that pressing B changes the gun that you have equipped. If only the controller could have, like, I don't know, 5 more buttons that weren't used. The weapon selection is the most basic stock standard list you could imagine. There's a standard assault rifle, which is pretty much useless. There's a shotgun, which became my favorite because you can one-tap the flying drones pretty easily. There's an LMG, which sounds great in theory, but it doesn't really do anything of more value than the assault rifle because of the enemy composition, which I'll explain in a moment. To round out the weapons is the RPG and the grenade launcher, which become necessities in your arsenal. Oh, and there are some stationary machine guns dotted around, but these are pretty much just a death sentence. There's this really weird bug where John will just not shoot when you pull the trigger, and sometimes the shot will eventually happen when you're not expecting it. And it's not specific to the RPG, but it's where I felt it the most because it's so frustrating when you waste your limited rocket supply. I thought for a minute that it was just input latency. I mean, I know what input latency feels like. I gave Google Stadia a chance to win me over when it first came out. But it's not input latency, it's just a straight up bug. There were times where I'd pull out my shotgun and I'd spam the fire button and the character just absolutely would not shoot until I put the gun down and went back to aiming. Throughout the game, you'll be battling different machines. The flying drones are pretty basic and they can be taken down with a single shotgun blast. These T-7T spiders require you to flank them to shoot the weak point on their backside. And the first few arenas do a really bad job at setting up opportunities for you to flank them. Instead, you end up needing to rely on your grenades. Later levels have cover spots for you to switch around and get into flanking positions, and for whatever reason, the AI companions will just sometimes refuse to shoot when you've got the attention drawn. It really made me wish that I had the aggro system from Army of Two. Speaking of, maybe I should cover Army of Two. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in that. The spider bots actually end up becoming the enemy that you'll see the most of in this game. The hunter-killer gunships chase down the squad and rain destruction from above. These are more cinematic moments of the game, either while you're running away in a truck or as a boss fight at the top of a skyscraper. Then there are the eponymous Terminators. And at this point in the timeline, these are the T-600 Terminator endoskeletons. Slow-moving, hard to knock down, and equipped with massive miniguns, these endos take a beating and dish out some insane damage. Later, the game introduces the T-600s with rubber skin. Developed by Skynet to infiltrate, John tries to warn the others that the T-800s will be made one day with real vat-grown skin and be indistinguishable from humans.
Rubber skin on a T-600. Easy to spot. For the 800s, they'll have real human skin.
You'll end up needing to rely on explosives in order to deal with the endos, either by just spamming your grenades or searching for a grenade launcher or an RPG. Eventually, the game just devolves into throwing Terminators at you, and you're pretty much not using any of the guns and you're only spamming explosives. You can blind fire your grenades from cover, but John's arm is crazy weak, so they don't go nearly far enough. If you go to aim the grenade throw, you'll be exposed and you get gunned down. And you pair that with no indicator for aiming your grenades and a ridiculously small explosion radius. If you don't optimize your grenades against the Terminators, you're f***ed. Pretty much every encounter looks just like this one. A set of chest-high walls, throw some grenades, do a little flanking, rinse, and repeat. A couple of times they mix it up with some turret sections. There's this pretty standard one of manning the gun of a truck as you protect a bus full of survivors from the pursuing Moto Terminators. There's also this section where you're escaping via the subway train and you pull out RPGs and you fire them off the open back of the train to stop the Moto Terminators. And there's this one scene near the end where John fixes up a destroyed hunter-killer tank and you control it to destroy the AA guns and the forces that are protecting the Skynet base, allowing the resistance to make their assault. But the game just kind of ends after rescuing Weston, with one of the characters, Angie, completing her character arc from being ready to give up on the fight entirely to fighting to save the others and get those survivors, until finally sacrificing herself so that John and the others can survive to lead the resistance. And just like that, the game ends. And what was the final runtime?
4 hours again.
And like I said, it's one of those movie tie-in games. It's the minimum viable product, lightly adapted from the movie, only some of the main cast, and with a laughable runtime. And the real cherry on top is that this game released for $60. Now, it's not an awful game. I actually really enjoyed playing through it again. It's not offensively bad or anything. It's just that kind of game that's immediately forgettably mid. If you're an achievement hunter, this is a great one to tackle. You can get through it in about 3 hours. You can earn all of the achievements just by beating it one time on the hard difficulty. You won't hate your time while you're doing it, and you'll at least get that happy hit of sweet dopamine when that achievement finally pops. Well, anyway, that's gonna do it for this review. Thanks again to my channel members for supporting me making videos like this one. I'm Ice Cold Snake. I'll see you next time.